Hi, and welcome to Community Hotline. My name is Monica Weitzel, and we're here in Gresham at MetroEast Community Media. Tonight we're going to be talking first with the Gresham Outdoor Public Art Group. And this committee is here to enrich our lives and the lives of all the citizens of Gresham with public art. And here to represent, we have the president, Judy Hahn. It's wonderful to have you here.
Thank you.
And Sue Myers, you're a member of the committee to do all this fabulous work. Good to see you both here again.
Thank you.
So tell me a little bit about this. Judy, you started the Gresham Art Walk years ago and have been involved with art for a long time. And I know you passed that on to the city a couple years ago, and this is kind of what you sort of fell into afterwards or got started.
We did.
What was your reason for wanting to promote public art in Gresham?
Because we're the fourth largest city and we're real behind. And we really need help. That was a good reason.
Yeah.
Back in 2010, a group of us, with Rip Caswell and Carol Nielsen and Dorothy Douglas and David Bauman and Kathy Toymie, started a group. And we were going to bring sculpture to the park when we were doing Art Walk, and that was just not going to happen. I mean, it was just too difficult. So we let that go. And after I gave the city the Art Walk and said, okay, here, I'll mentor you through it. I know you can do it. We were a 501c3, and I didn't want to let that go. And one thing that we are very short on in Gresham is permanent public art. So we're starting, so I went to a group of people, Rip Caswell, Sue, Kevin Kennard from Jazzy Bagel, Leslie Radke, Gretchen Brown from the retired librarian, Marty Stone, Mike Hill.
So some of these are artists and some of them are just art
That's
appreciators.
Right. So there's a group of us and we all came together, and I went to them and I said, would you come with me? Would you do this? Could we start this again and begin? So that's what we did. And we're a 501c3, and the mission is to bring permanent public art to the city of Gresham, starting at the center core, the historic downtown, the living room of Gresham, and working our way out. We're not just going to be in downtown, not just on Main Street, but we're working our way out. Great.
Sue, how did you get involved with this? Judy talked you into it, right?
Judy talked me into it. That you know Judy. My business is Chase Me Again, which is a nonprofit thrift store that gives money to the community. Right. And I had given her some money because I knew what she was planning, and I kind of heard about what she was doing, and so I gave her a little bit of seed money. And then she came back to tell me what she was doing, and I got excited, and of course had some ideas and said, I might be able to give you some more money.
And maybe some of my time.
And maybe some of my ideas. And of course Judy just gathers people. And I'm having a time in my life. It's so much fun.
Good.
She knows the artists. She has great taste. She has connections. She's really good at fundraising. So it's been a real smooth ride of getting things started and going, and we're building momentum.
It does help to have those connections and to have that history in a community as being someone who knows how to make things happen and is involved with art. And your location is right across the street. Your store is right across the street from the Center for the Arts Plaza there, so that's a perfect location to be able to appreciate, public art and just right there in downtown.
I think that what we're bringing is pretty exciting.
So tell me what's happened so far. What's been going on?
First of all, I want to say one thing. If you can have a great idea, but if you don't have people in place to help that happen, and everybody on this committee has a niche to fill, and they've all got a position. Carol Nielsen's also on this board. So there's a group of, I think, 12 of us, 11 or 12 of us. Anyway, what was your question? I just got excited there a moment. I just wanted to talk about art. Okay, art. Okay, let's talk about art. So I went to Mayor Bemis and I said, Mayor Bemis, I formed this group and I want to bring some public art and blah, 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 and I need a roadmap. And he said to me, well, okay, you're going to create the roadmap, Judy. So we created a roadmap. We did a lot of homework on what they were doing in other cities, in Wilsonville, McMinnville, Wenatchee, Washington, a lot of places.
What
we looked
worked,
at
what
it.
doesn't,
right.
what didn't.
And so we made a policy for the city. The city really didn't have a policy for public art. City of Gresham has no dollars for public art. We have no percentage for arts. Many cities do, but we don't.
Which explains why there's very little public art.
Explains it why, which is why it has to come from community, and that's what this is doing. So we got that started, and then we went up to, we talked to Rip Caswell, and Rip said, I have artists and I will support you, and we can give you art, or we can sell art to you at our foundry costs, or whatever, cost plus whatever. And we went up to Cascade Locks, and I spoke with Brad Lorang, and we happened to be with Heather Soderberg in her foundry. And Heather happened to be working on some projects. I asked her if she would help be involved. Would she consider helping us? She said, I'm there, Judy.
Wow.
And she says, well, come look and see what I'm doing. So we went over and we looked at this piece, and she's working. I said, well, she says, I'm working on this guide dog. And I turned to Carol Nielsen and David Bauman, and I said, well, okay, that might be the first piece we work on. So I talked to her about it. I asked her if that was something that was possible for us, and she said it is. She owns the forms and whatever.
So it wasn't promised to somebody else. Somebody else hadn't commissioned
They actually,
that.
yes, somebody had commissioned it, and it was good friends of a gentleman in Hood River, and the gentleman had a guide dog by the name of Driscoll, and they commissioned this from her, and because she had the rights to the dog and the form already, I said, could we get a guide dog? I mean, it's the fabric of our community. They're there every day. We see them.
That's right.
It's
guide
huge.
Dogs for the blind. You see them. I
And she
just saw
said-
some today. you know,
Yes.
people
and she said,
training the dogs.
absolutely. She said it's doable. So came back, and we gathered dollars from the citizens of Gresham, and also I went to the Gresham Breakfast Lions Club. Lions are about sight and hearing.
Oh,
and so the
perfect.
Gresham Breakfast Lions Club paid for half of this
That was smart.
bronze. They're very smart. And then with Heather's support and the bronze and the Gresham Outdoor Public Art, we're having it. So we are doing an unveiling
Oh, how exciting.
the night before the festival. It'll be July 15th.
Before the Gresham Arts
Before the
Festival.
Gresham Arts Festival. Lynn Snodgrass, from the CEO of the Gresham Chambers, really recommended that. So we had a meeting with her. She said, really need to do it then. So we said, okay.
Yeah, that's perfect. That's
So
a
it'll
good
be that
kickoff.
night. It'll be a good kickoff. And so we're going to do that the night before, and it'll be an unveiling.
So tell
and,
us exactly where in Gresham.
It's going to be on the corner of 3rd and Main.
Okay.
The reason it's there is because of the way the streets are laid out. Also because we have projects planned for 2nd Street and probably 1st Street and 5th Street. And there's
Boy.
already a bronze. The Family Ties is on the bronze on the Historic Museum site. So that's why it's kind of
Yeah,
at
perfect.
that point, that's where it's going to be.
Perfect. I think we have some pictures of
Okay.
some of the artwork that
Right.
that we have in Gresham. So we should take a look at those so we
Okay.
can see what else is out there. I know there's not that much yet, but okay.
We're on it.
There's
so
the
that's
bronze.
Driscoll.
So
Isn't
cute.
it sweet?
Was a Golden Lab.
Oh, so cute.
And he was trained in Gresham, and he went to a gentleman in Hood River. And he passed, and so very good friends of the gentleman, Ken, I'm not sure how to pronounce his last name, Jernst, commissioned it from Heather Soderberg to do it. And
What a
so
thoughtful thing to
we're
do.
able to, yes. So
So it's a life-size dog?
It's a life-size dog. I mean,
oh,
and he's
and
looking
the
up at
kids
you.
especially are
Yes,
just going to go nuts. They're
right.
going to love that.
And the plaque says it's dedicated to all service dogs.
Oh,
and
I like that.
it is dedicated to the service dogs in the community, and there's many service dogs. This one just happens to be a guide dog. Mm-hmm. And his
Look
name
at
is
the
Driscoll.
expression on that
I
face.
know, he's great.
I
He's
love
great.
it. I love
Yeah.
it.
So this is the first bronze, I think, in Gresham. And
Is
that-
it?
No,
I-
Family Ties.
Oh, the
Family Times
Ties,
was,
yeah.
but that was on the historic museum space. Yeah. So this
now,
will be
is
the
that
site.
Carla Peluso,
That's
our
Carla.
former police chief?
That
here?
is Carla Peluso, and so
She adopted that
She
bike.
adopted this bike. So what happened is I just saw those bike racks we had, and I said to Mayor Bemis, "They're very boring. We have to do
You
something
can
with
make
this.
something that
Let's
looks
just make
cooler than
something
that, huh?"
fun out of this." So I asked him if I could have a bike rack. I want to do something with it. So he said, "Okay."
Go
I said,
for
"I
it, huh?"
promise. Let me just try one. And see
Yeah.
what you think." So I gave it to Tim Fitch of Corbett, and he made an old-fashioned bike made out of
love
all
it.
reclaimed materials.
Oh, that's
and
nice.
Carla was the first to adopt it. So she bought the bike.
And we will do more.
And we're going to do a lot more bikes.
So, and will they all be the same or will they
No,
be different?
They're going to be
Oh,
different, and
even
they're going to be
better.
colors.
Oh,
It'll be
that'll be
all
great.
kinds of old-fashioned bikes. We're very bike friendly.
Well, yes, I know, and the
So
city's
it's all
really
about
been
bikes.
behind that too, the bicycle tourism and all that.
So that one is installed right in front of Jazzy Bagel.
It's in front of
Oh,
Jazzy
okay.
Bagel, right?
And will you have one in front of Chase Me Again, do you think, eventually?
I will have
Oh.
something quite different in front of Chase Me Again, I'm sure.
Oh, okay,
Oh, I'm
okay.
sure.
Oh, well, we're coming up with it.
Now, this
okay.
is what
This
the-
is Family Ties. The History Museum Historical Society bought this from Rip Caswell some years back. But when they got it, they didn't have the money to, it wasn't placed on anything, it was just sitting on dirt. So Gresham Outdoor Public Art paid for the brick, and we got the plaque so that at least you know what the name of it was, and Rip Caswell's name was on there. Before it was just sitting there. So we paved,
That's a
we had that
beautiful
done.
statue.
Right, it was done in a herringbone pattern to match the museum.
Which is such a great
It's called
museum. I
Family
love that
Ties.
museum anyway. That building is so cool
I
looking.
know it is.
This is exciting.
This is going to be the mural on the Jazzy Bagel building
This
where
is
the
great.
piano guy was.
Right, right.
And it's a look back in time in the 1900s of the drugstore.
Gresham
And the
Drugs.
gentleman in the white jacket actually is Dick Dowsett's grandfather.
Dick Dowsett was the original owner, or Dick
The
Dowsett's
Dowsett family
was the original owner of the drugstore.
Of the drugstore.
Really? I love
So this is
that.
honoring them. The Dowsett family still owns that building. And so I went to Dick and I said, I want to do a mural. And he said, well, I don't know. And I said, I just need permission. He said, okay, you have permission, Judy. So he
And
gave
did
us
he know what
permission.
it was about?
No, he was thinking at first it would be a mural of a scene going down Main Street. But Don Gray is the artist that we commissioned. Mike Hill got his name from somebody in Portland. And I gave him every history book in Gresham. And Don Gray paints historic murals all over the country.
Wow.
So he goes and he studies the area, and he came back and he said it's the drugstore that represented the community in the 1900s. Wow. So it's a look back in time.
Yeah. Like
We
kids playing
asked,
checkers.
right? I mean, it's so cool. And then we, in fact, the fountain actually was up front originally. And so we asked, what is the woman standing there? And so Mike Hill and the artist was saying, you're looking back in time, and she's looking to the future. So you're drawn in. So she's looking to the future, and we're looking into the past. And Dawn should be starting that. The artist would be starting it. It should be it might even be happening when the arts festival is going.
Which would be appropriate, I
Right.
think.
This was something I saw just driving around Gresham a year or so ago, and nobody knew anything about it, and it sits over by the skateboard park, so I called the city and got a hold of somebody, and she directed me somewhere, and I played Perry Mason and found out Todd Jones gave me the school. It's a Gresham Barlow High School student who graduated, and it was just tucked, and he gave it to the city as his senior project. And
Oh,
then it was
really?
tucked away until they got the skate park, but it never was acknowledged about who did it or what it was
It
about.
wasn't really installed,
It was, it was installed, it's very there,
but there was no.
no information about
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
So
And this is called
Crash.
Crash.
So I called the school. They told me Jay Eitner, who was the teacher then, was in Bend. I got a hold of Bend and Jay gave me his name, and Leslie goes on to Facebook, Leslie Radke, and we played Perry Mason, and we found the
You did,
guy.
didn't you?
And his name is Michael DeSimone. And he says to me, I got thrown out of a lot of places from skateboarding. I said I was probably one of them off my steps at Sunny Hans. And so I said, do you have a title? And he gave me information. And he served 2 tours in Afghanistan. And he said, Judy, when you make the plaque, can you please thank my teacher, Jay Eitner, because he is the one that encouraged him to do this. So we had this plaque made, and we did an unveiling to acknowledge this young man who donated this art.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, it's a great story.
Yummy. Choked up, Judy.
Yep, and all the veterans came that day. We did it, I think it was on Veterans Day.
It was.
It was on Veterans Day, and the veterans all came.
Oh, that's wonderful.
And I know there was some issues between the skate park and this, and I go, and this young man is a veteran.
Because that's what art does. It brings
Brings
community
people
together.
together. There you go.
Perfect.
It does.
It does. See, what are you looking forward to seeing in all these different projects? You said you might have something special outside of your business.
I am excited. No, nothing outside my business yet. I just know when we get there,
I mean,
we'll
but
do it.
eventually you would
right
like
now,
to do
I
something.
am most excited about the mural. Yeah. It's going to be really cool. That woman that you saw in the picture, we measured it out on the wall. We went outside and figured it all out, how it's going to be. She's going to be about 8 feet tall.
Oh boy.
Yeah,
It's going to be
larger
a
than
statement.
life.
It'll be a statement. It's
Yeah.
just beautiful.
People will appreciate that, and they'll, and if it's going to be started, do you think right before the Gresham Arts Festival?
No, it will be. I think Don said he thinks he's going to start it maybe the 1st or 2nd week of July.
Perfect.
It will take him about 3 weeks. It's a long process.
And he does it by himself.
Just by himself. He's got
Right.
scaffolding and the whole bit. So maybe he'll be working on it during the art festival. The other thing I want to say is, people such as Sue Piazza donated some dollars to this, and John Clark, and a number of other people in the community have donated to this. So we had a funky junk sale. Remember the funky junk sale? That's how we earn dollars for these things. We don't get grant dollars. We should, but we're not getting them. The dollars go all around us, so we don't get it. But that's going to change. We are going to change that. We are going to change that. So this has come
determined.
because we're determined and because it should change. And so all of these dollars for everything has come from community dollars, from the community. And I think the community buys into it.
So the dog is totally paid for, and we are almost totally paid for on the mural.
Almost.
We are
We're a little bit.
like a steamroller going down.
I
paying for that
guess.
thing.
We are.
I guess,
Yeah.
because you only started this, what, 2 years ago? Or 3
Actually,
years ago?
we started maybe in 2015,
Yeah.
and we started talking in late 2014. So within 1 year,
That's pretty
we'll have.
impressive.
Yes, we are.
So what else do you need? Sue, do you think that they need more
Dollars.
people involved besides the dollars? Besides the
We
dollars,
need
which
money.
Everybody needs money.
Everybody
Yeah.
needs money.
Everybody needs
Yeah,
money.
we
And so if you have a little spare change,
You know,
and,
if artists have ideas for things in Gresham, we would love to hear ideas
Okay.
for more art in Gresham. It's going to have to go slow because we pay for it as we go.
Yes.
We don't get in debt. We be sure the artists get paid.
Yes.
We don't want artists to not get paid. That's important.
well, and that's something that has always been a concern of yours. I know,
Oh, yeah.
treat the artists well, like at the Gresham
Arts Festival, I know.
Yeah, yeah.
I went out to Mount Hood College, and I spoke to them about a year ago. And I went in, and actually Gretchen Brown and David Bauman and I went out, and I said, I'd really like to talk to your artists here. And they go, why are you here? And I go, because you're new artists, and I want to show the arts are the things that are cut out of everything. We have a platform. If you do some art, we have a place and a venue for you to put it. Would you consider it? And they are. So they called me again, and I went back and talked to them again. And they've actually done a sketch of something, a metal sculpture with glass in it, heavy, different kind of glass. I'm not sure what kind of glass you call it. And it's something we're going to talk about. They're going to do a sample so I can bring it to the committee. And maybe next fall, there may be a sculpture coming from the Mount Hood Community College sculpture program.
Wow.
I'm going to talk to the college and see what part they can play in it. That's the 50-year anniversary of the college.
Right, right.
We are a Mount Hood Community College, and we are in Gresham, Oregon, and we have a place we can put this piece of art. So it also engages the students, and it shows support for new and emerging artists, not just so it's just critical.
Yeah, that makes
The
sense.
art is good for business, and art is good for the community.
It's good for the soul.
Yes, it is.
And,
It is.
and everybody who came to the Funky Junk sale, I would say to them, when you buy a piece of something you can't live without here, you have bought into the mural. You are now a supporter of that mural. You have helped that mural to become a reality. Just by spending your $5 or $10 or whatever it is, you are now a part of it. And I think that's really key in communities.
And people love that.
And people
They love-
loved it.
They
Yeah,
love the
of course
idea
they
of
do.
giving
They
to
are a
the
part
arts.
of it, and they can
Yeah.
share in that.
That's something I've always been impressed with the city of Gresham about, but just the community, how they really do come together
They do.
as a community and try to support each other and support businesses and the artists. And yeah.
So we're going to have a big party on July 15th. We're doing the unveiling of this
we are having a party.
beautiful puppy dog that we love. He's going to be our guide dog. We're
Driscoll.
Driscoll.
So cute.
Driscoll.
So July 15th.
At what time?
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock.
Friday
okay.
night. We're
There'll
going
be
to have
some music.
activities,
We'll have some
music.
activities, music.
And you said this is 3rd and Main? Is it?
Main.
3rd and Main. On the,
Okay, 3rd
yeah,
and
it'll
Main.
be, the street will be closed from 2nd to 4th, but on 3rd and Main in the corner is where it'll be set up.
So just come on down and
Yeah.
on down.
Come celebrate.
Come celebrate. I think the guide dogs are bringing puppies and trainers, and I mean, who's not going to want to do that?
I know, I know.
Yeah, you're going to want to be there.
yeah.
So
I love it. I think
Yeah.
that's great.
Right.
Any last words? We're just about out of time. Anything else we should know about the Gresham Outdoor Public Art?
I just think I think something so important is we need to lift our spirits in Gresham up. It's very difficult times, and we always tend to see all the negative, but we're all here for a reason. Sonny and I have had Sunny Haunts 24 years. I'm going nowhere, and that's one reason I'm driven for this. We need to lift our spirits and know that we aren't we're not what everybody's talking about. We are different than that. We are more than that. And it's important for us to say that. We are more than what you read.
More than the bad news in
We
the
are
paper
more
and
than the
on
bad news.
on
That's why
television.
we're here. So if you have any extra dollars, we are a 501c3 and we can use all the help because we've got a lot of projects like bike racks and all kinds of things to do. So
And if you want more information, there's
we have a website,
Yeah.
Gresham Art Walk, Gresham
Outdoor.
OutdoorPublicArt.com. It's a mouthful.
And go to the unveiling.
And come to the
July
unveiling.
15th.
It'll be a wonderful day.
Okay,
It'll be a
sounds
wonderful
good.
day. Thank you, Monica.
Yeah, you bet. I'll
Thank you.
see you there.
Okay.
In the meantime, don't go away. We will be right back with a very, very special segment of Community Hotline that you're not going to want to miss.
What local community media is to us is literally our lifeline to what's going on in the lives around us.
The absolute most important thing that happens in your neighborhood.
People's local communities are usually what's most important to them.
Because we're the faces, the smiles, the peoples, and the personalities of the community.
To not only give people a voice, but to have their voice heard.
Coming here to shoot my documentary was more than I ever would have dreamed of doing.
This is a community media station.
It was phenomenal.
Ready, camera one.
What is it about this place that makes so many different people come together?
Ready, camera two.
Very professional, experienced people. You can use these industry standard pieces of equipment.
Ready, camera three. Take three.
You don't have to be rich to do this.
Open people's eyes to something they've never even thought of before.
Cool stuff happens. It becomes this community.
That's going to really change who's telling the stories and who's controlling the messaging.